Yeah, and we're live. Hello, everybody. Week 9. I can't believe it's week 9 already. So we're over the hump.
Sort of. Well, yeah. I mean, for the fantasy season,
okay.
for the fantasy season, we are for the whole season. We now have what 18 weeks, I guess. So, well, are we even for the fantasy season? No, I guess we're not for the fantasy season either.
What? Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, one more week and then we'll get over the hump. Let's hit the intro. It's the fantasy. What am I saying? It's Roto Hackers Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Judah Buddha. I'm here with it's Jared, the absolute stud. AJ Herschel, the kid, is waylaid. Maybe he's going to join us. We'll see. And we're here to talk to you about fantasy football, NFL, have played Thursday. Wanted to get some of your feedback, Jared, as the resident Colts aficionado. How'd you feel about that game?
I mean, you better beat the Jets. Well, so from a fantasy standpoint, it was great because I started a lot of Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman and a little bit of Carson Wentz too. I would have actually started more Carson Wentz if I knew Taysom Hill was not going to start for the Saints. But anyway, so from a fantasy perspective, yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor had 33 points in half-point PPR. Michael Pittman nearly had 15. I think he was like 14.9 or something.
Nice.
From a fantasy standpoint, it was great. Defensively, like in terms of real analysis for the Colts, like defensively, I don't know what their deal is. They've got some great, defensive players on that side of the ball, and yet somehow they just allow teams to, they allowed the Ravens to come back and beat them. They nearly allowed the Jets with like their third string quarterback to come back and beat them. So I really don't know what they're doing, if they need to just ditch their defensive coordinator or what, but it was mostly, honestly, my favorite part of that was just getting to watch the Colts in a primetime game, because for whatever reason, the NFL does not really like to schedule a lot of those for them. Or they haven't in past years. They, this year we've gotten two pretty recently here, one being the 49ers game that was played in a monsoon. And so that wasn't really like watching a regular game. So this was just nice to see, the Colts playing inside of Lucas Oil Stadium, which I haven't been to in several years. So nice to see it again. Would be nice to get back there. So.
Yeah, it'd be good to get a game. How much would it cost to get tickets for something like that?
I mean, it's like anything else. It's depending on where you want to sit. You're ranging from I don't remember what upper deck tickets are, but they're not bad, But then if you want to sit down in a better spot, the last time I bought tickets, they were a couple $100, and so since then they may have, I'm sure they've probably gone up even more. So
yeah, well, that'd be fun. Well, yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was a bonanza for fantasy. Now on the Jet side, though, a little bit of a drought. Who got the majority of the fantasy points on that side? Because I saw Carter got like not very much.
Yeah,
and,
Carter didn't.
It was the rookie, right? Elijah.
Yeah, Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's had, 3 pretty good games in a row. Well, maybe 2. He's when they played New England, he only had a catch for 13 yards, but he ended up with nearly hitting double-digit points because of not because of his receiving, but yeah, but at week 8 against Cincinnati, and my mistake, I guess. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, in week 8 against Cincinnati, he had caught all 6 of his targets for 67 yards, hit double digits. This game, Corey Davis was out, and he caught 7 out of 8 for 84 and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, Elijah Moore is looking like he could be a fantasy asset, but it's just kind of tough if, like, when Davis comes back and you've got Jamison Crowder in there, and eventually they're going to probably go back to Zach Wilson at some point, and so it's kind of hard. You'd like to be able to project him kind of doing this for the rest of the season, but it's tough to know.
Well, and he's somebody you don't have to pay a high price for, right? You could probably get him on the waiver wire in a lot of places. I think he's only about 45% owned, 40%.
26, only 26.
26. So yeah, he's on waiver wires everywhere. So you don't have to pay much for him, and it could be some high upside there just to kind of put him on your, put him. He's not. AJ's not going to make it. So if you want to put him on your bench and kind of as an investment. So AJ's one piece of advice to all the other McCaffrey owners out there. He says, please check your roster Sunday morning. So yeah, I haven't seen the news. I know he's designated to return and has been practicing a little bit, but I haven't seen anything definitive. We're Saturday night now. Is CMC going to play?
Yeah, yeah. They've activated him. He's going to go through a pregame workout to determine if he's actually able to go. And beyond that, like, you don't really know what his workload is going to be, and you wonder exactly what it's going to be the rest of the season, even assuming he can stay healthy, because now we're just getting to a point in the season where, again, we're nearly halfway through the season. Carolina is 4-4, so technically they're sort of, in competition for a wild card, but with him being injured and stuff, and Chuba doing pretty well while he was out, it makes you wonder if they'll try to preserve him a little bit more. We'll see, but it will be nice to have him back. And then actually, it looks like David Montgomery is going to be back this week too, which kind of I wasn't really, I guess, in close attention to that, and that kind of caught me by surprise. Where it looks like he's going to be back, and it's not, in his first week back, it's not really clear because he's designated to return. And
has he been practicing though? I haven't seen anything.
So Matt Nagy said, let's see. Matt Nagy said that there was a really good chance that he'll be activated for Monday night's game. That makes it worse that it's a Monday night game. And I think he had been. So Nagy noted that he thought Montgomery looked really good in practice this week. So.
Okay, so he has practiced. Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of makes it tough if you are a David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert owner, unless you happen to have both. But even then, you may not know who's going to get the majority of touches if Montgomery goes.
Yeah, and let's see, for some of the other news out there, looks like Adrian Peterson made the active roster, which is kind of surprising to me. And somebody else coming off of the IR is Jeff Wilson. Is he somebody who'd play? It's like a flex.
I would hate to put him in there first week back, but I think if you can stash him somewhere, that's attractive to have him on your bench there.
Yeah,
see what he does.
I think it would be interesting. I have to decide. I have him on IR. I have to decide whether or not just to drop him or who I'm going to drop in order to take him off IR.
Yeah.
Robinson's back he got some. What it says, it got in some work. So James Robinson got in some work, but still questionable versus the Bills. Stafford and Woods did not play. DMP, but during practice, but expected to play. Did you know what happened? I think we might have talked about it, or what's going on with Stafford's finger? Is it a finger or back? Oh, back, I think.
Back issue. I am not really sure. I mean, that's a little bit worrisome because he had those. I think they were, fractures or stress fractures, some kind of fractures in his back last year. So that's a little bit worrisome, but apparently maybe not a big issue right now.
And then a couple other big ones, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins still not practicing as of yesterday. Kind of trending towards not going to play as far as I can tell.
Right.
Do you have a read on that at all?
I do not. I know I've seen, I think, kind of the same thing that you have. It sounds like, from what some of the stuff the front office has said, they've talked about looking at the bigger picture or the big picture with Kyler Murray. So sounds like, he might not. You can't tell for sure if that's just them bluffing, but obviously with Hopkins, we saw that, he had to come off the field a lot in that game against Green Bay. Only had two targets. One ended up being a big play, but that was about it. So
it was a big catch. It wasn't really a big running play, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, those are looking pretty iffy. We got a question in the chat.
30 Mad Max 23. I have 3 running backs: Daryl Williams, Devonte Booker, and Chase Edmonds. Who would you? What 2 would you start? That's a tough one, but I think I see here that it looks like Saquon Barkley is going to play. It's trending towards he's going to play. So I probably put Daryl Williams and Devonte Booker. But I'm telling you this, we talked about it last week, that Daryl Williams play is looking a little iffy. What?
So, no, I think everything Yahoo has him listed as out. Yahoo has Barkley listed as out. And
really?
the Giants have their bye week next week in week 10. So I think that's probably accurate. They probably wouldn't bring him a week before the bye. They would probably do it, just to give him some rest. So, so for me, I would say Daryl Williams and Devonte Booker. All 3 of these guys have been pretty similar in terms of productions, like low double digits in terms of production. But if Kyler Murray's going to be out, I don't know exactly how that'll affect things. If it's, you would assume it's going to hurt the offense. I don't know if that means you could get more, dump offs to Chase Edmonds, but I think with not knowing what the effect to the offense is going to be, and the fact that Williams and Booker both have pretty appealing matchups, I think they are the safer and more predictable plays there.
I just for Daryl Williams, I worry about Gore. Gore looks like he's not a he's not super fast, but it did look like he got a lot of touch. I think he split evenly with Daryl Williams last week. Maybe that was game plan. He just came out of nowhere. I was talking to AJ about how I have Daryl Williams in an important spot. And I look up, I'm watching the game, and it was this weird, surreal moment where I'm like, Gore is still in the league. Gore
Yeah.
is playing well.
Yeah.
What? You know, and it took me a little while to realize that was Derek Gore, whoever
Yeah.
that is.
Right.
It was weird.
Yeah. I wasn't really familiar with him either, but he definitely got some carries.
Well, what are some interesting things coming up this weekend? I think of note, other than I think whether Kyler Murray is playing, I think that game could be really interesting. Exactly what you alluded to for players like Edmonds, and of course, his receivers. Who's the backup there? Who would be backing up Kyler Murray? I'm not even sure.
I will have to look to see, yeah, because I don't remember off the top of my head. I think I should know this. I think when I see it, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I forgot that guy was there. Let's see. Their backup is Colt McCoy. That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
Colt McCoy.
Yeah, Colt ended up signing there. I knew it was someone, that was a familiar name, but I just couldn't remember who had ended up there.
I mean, that's not great for the receivers now. What receivers would you be playing, though? Are Rondell Moore? Because I think Green is injured. I thought I saw Green was questionable or something.
I mean, we're kind of probably getting to that point in the season where AJ Green will be questionable. So actually, AJ Green is on COVID list.
Right. Oh, he's on COVID list. Okay.
So I guess he could potentially be activated before then, but right now
I don't think so. Not if he's today.
Yeah. So then that basically, kind of leaves Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore. Kirk's been fairly consistent in terms of his targets and things like that. And then, of course, not a receiver, but a pass catcher, Zach Ertz. He might be. Colt McCoy is not exactly, a daredevil in terms of, throwing the ball down the field. So he might go to their tight end a little bit more.
And their tight end is
Ertz.
Mo Alley Cox. Oh, that's right. Ertz. Yeah, okay, that's right. Ertz. I forgot. Yeah, you just said that. I was reading this question here. I got Fant. Speaking of tight ends, I got Fant, and he's out. Yeah, he's got COVID. My top tight ends to pick up are Higbee, Jared Cook, Freedmuth, Tyler Conklin. I like Conklin. Dan Arnold could be good too, or anybody you'll take. Another one you might want to look out with Fant out is Albert O. There's a lot of buzz about Albert O this week, particularly though in the DFS, right within the DFS ranks writers. But Albert O will probably get some. He'll definitely get playing time, but he might get a lot of looks, maybe even a touchdown. Now that Fant's out.
Mm-hmm.
Who of all these he mentioned? It's Tyler Conklin. Does that do anything for you?
Yeah, I think picked him up in some spots. Freermuth, the guy from Pittsburgh, he's been doing really well lately. I wouldn't mind him as a sort of rest of season play, but this week they've got the Bears, and the Bears have been fairly tough on tight ends. So as a 1 week streamer, I don't really like him as well, but rest of season, he's got some appeal.
Yeah, our earlier conversation about going back to the. So yeah, well, let's answer this guy's question. Would you rather have Albert O or Freermuth?
I'm not really into. I'm not trusting Albert O that much. I would go probably again if you just need a 1 week play, I'd probably go Conklin. If you're looking at if you're looking more long term, if you maybe want to have somebody in addition to Fant, then I'd say Freermuth.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Conklin this week against the Bears. Not a good matchup.
No, Conklin is I forget who Minnesota's got, but it's Freiermuth that's got the Bears.
Yeah, Minnesota's playing the Ravens, which is not great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I think Conklin does a little something for me. I don't know. I think who's Dan Arnold is playing for. I keep thinking he's with the
He's with the Jags now.
He's with the Jags now. Yeah. So maybe who are they playing? They are playing the Bills. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go with them. Is that right? Jags, Bills. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Conklin. Maybe Friedmuth. All right. Well, what about Derek Carr or Tua? Tua's iffy even to play, isn't he?
I haven't seen what the latest is.
I think he is going to play, but there's something going on. I think he took a big hit or something.
He's questionable. It's a finger issue, so I would so he banged it on someone's helmet. The Dolphins are optimistic that start. They have Houston, which has been friendly against. Well, I think Houston's probably been friendly against everything, but Houston's been friendly against the pass. Derek Carr is okay, but yeah, against the Giants, but this is also going to be their first week without Ruggs. So the Raiders have the Raiders are having a rough season. It's funny, like what started out looking like, okay, everything, the John Gruden plan has fallen into place. They're doing better. Derek Carr's doing better. Then all of a sudden stuff with John Gruden, and then the stuff with Henry Ruggs. And then today they had a player. I don't remember. I don't think it was anyone. Well, it could be a defender who's a starter. I'm not sure, but who's, in some trouble over some social media stuff. So, yeah, I don't know.
Not going well, man. How fast it can change.
Yeah,
I think I would go Derek Carr though.
You would? I would.
Yeah.
I would probably go Tua. I turned to Tua. If Tua just won't get hurt or more hurt, I rolled him out against the Falcons, and and he ended up with like 28 points or something like that. He's got a couple of good underneath options like Waddle and Gesicki. So I would probably roll the dice on Tua again.
Yeah, I don't know. I worry that that's just going to be a slaughter. With Tyrod coming back, and I don't know. I just think that the Dolphins are going to get slaughtered, which could make it for a good day for Tua.
Yeah, might have to throw more.
Yeah. Then Randy Miller says, "Are we going?" Oh yeah, that's another one we didn't talk about coming off of IR. Is Kittle going to play this week? Are we going Kittle or Ertz this week? Also, do I start Boston Scott, Daryl Williams, or Carlos Hyde? I was looking at Boston Scott. Boston Scott's in a great place this week. I think I'd slam some Boston Scott this week. Definitely over Daryl Williams or Carlos Hyde. But between Ertz and Kittle, that's tough. That is tough. I mean, of course, I would love to say Kittle, the superstar tight end Kittle, but he really hasn't been that this year. What do you think?
Yeah, he hasn't. Ertz's situation could be pretty complicated if Kyler's not in there. Ertz he's getting about 4 catches a game. He's done well 2 out of the last 3 weeks because he had a touchdown to go along with it. Kittle, man, I don't know. I would be. I think if
against the Cardinals.
Right. Yeah, they're playing each other. The two teams are playing each other.
Oh yeah.
But if Kyler's out, I would probably go Kittle. And that's the way it's sounding like it's going to go. And then I agree with Jude on that. I would probably go Boston Scott. Chargers run defense has been bad. You're looking at a split with either one of those players, Williams or Scott, split in backfield carries. Carlos Hyde, even if he got the start over James Robinson, who's banged up, I don't know that I'd really want to. I don't think I'd want to roll that out against the Bills defense. So for me, I think Kittle and Scott.
Yeah. And BK7 agrees with us. Now, Nick says nicked, I guess. Nicked, yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us. Start Josh Jacobs or Joe Mixon non-PPR. I mean, that's got to be Joe Mixon, right? Who are they playing? Yeah, against the Browns.
So, yeah, I mean, matchup wise, Jacobs' matchup is the Giants. Better. So that's not. The interesting thing with Jacobs too is that he's had 3 straight weeks of like 14 point something points. Yeah. So he's actually been pretty consistent. Cleveland's actually been pretty tough against the run. That is a hard one because I want Mixon. I want to go Mixon, but the matchup kind of makes it a little bit more complicated. I suppose I would still. I guess I would still give it a try with Mixon. I mean, Jacobs. It's a little bit iffy with him because he's not always getting a. Like last game he had 6 carries. Prior to that he had been. 13, 14, 15, or 13, 15, 16, not doing a ton with that, kind of sitting around 50 yards. I guess I would go Mixon. No.
I think it kind of depends on how you think. That Bengals Brown game is going to be a lot lower scoring game than people think. I mean, it always, whenever those guys get together, it's lower than you think. It's going to be a big shootout. But it's going to be a very defensive game. Both of those defenses are doing pretty well. And I don't know. But that might mean they just try to it's a running back game. But I could see, this is the thing, is I could see the Raiders getting up big over the Giants and running a lot and running well with Jacobs. Mm-hmm. So games over names sometimes. I think Jacobs, I'm kind of talking myself out of Mixon there. I love Mixon, though. So that's kind of a toss-up to me. Truly epic. I got CeeDee Lamb, and I'm worried about him having limited snaps. Yeah, he's a little banged up, or maybe a little bit more than a little banged up. Should I replace him with Christian Kirk or Bryan Edwards? That would be tough. Bryan Edwards, of course, you could have a huge game because, now with Ruggs being out. Christian Kirk, the same thing with, depending on who's throwing to him. Between those two, I'd probably go Bryan Edwards. What do you think? I might pick up Rondale Moore over those two, but I think I might stick with CeeDee Lamb over all 3 of those.
Yeah, I think if, again, part of this depends on if Hopkins to be out and Murray was in, Christian Kirk becomes pretty appealing. Bryan Edwards, I just don't know that he's going to absorb some massive, target share that Ruggs was getting. I would probably still try to go with CD if he plays, but that's also questionable. So you got to wait and see who's playing. But I would go Kirk if Murray's in and Hopkins is out. Otherwise, I would go CD if he's in. But there's a scenario where you might be just forced to play Bryan Edwards.
And if you could take a look at the waiver wire, if for some reason Waddle is out there, what's his name? Parker just got put on the IR. Mm-hmm. I think Waddle could continue to be better and better, but a lot of people are seeing that and taking him off the waiver wire, so he might not be on there. Would you play Waddle over any of these guys?
Yeah, I would probably play I would probably play Waddle over all of them because, yeah, like you said, Parker, he's not going to be back. Waddle, the fewest targets he's got was 2 games ago was 8. Now, sometimes he doesn't do that much with his massive targets. He had a dozen targets last week. Buffalo, though, again, Buffalo's a tough defense. And he only caught 4 for 29 yards. He ended up with 4.9 points, but he's going to get a ton of targets. Houston's not intimidating. I would for sure play him over the others.
It looks like he's pretty much owned. He's 88% rostered. So I thought he was a lot less rostered, but I think people are seeing how his production. You got to take him. Okay, so yeah, we talked a little bit about that. BK7 says truly epic. Definitely don't start either of those guys over CD. Well, you got to start somebody if CD is out. But I don't. At this point, it's just questionable, right?
Right.
CD has injury though. The fantasy doctor said there's no way he's going to be productive. The fantasy doctor, is that the guy that has a YouTube channel, blonde guy? He's never been too. I have never trusted him. Well, I did trust him for a while, and he really led me astray. Who's your guys' top 5 running backs rest of the season? Okay, that's an interesting question. Or top 3 if you don't want to do 5. I was thinking about this, and if you were to draft again, who would you put in the top 5? I was thinking it would have to be, Harris, right? Najee Harris is in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean,
got to put. Well, go ahead. Who are your top 5?
No, you're already rolling. You go ahead.
No, because I can't remember their names. Who's the guy? Who's the running back for the Chargers? He's got to be in the top 5, right?
Austin Eckler.
Eckler.
Yeah, I think you got to put Austin Eckler up there. I think you got to put Jonathan Taylor up there.
Taylor. Oh yeah, Taylor would be number 1.
Yeah.
Taylor, Najee, Eckler.
Yeah, Taylor, Najee, Eckler are in there. It kind of depends.
Mixon's done well.
Well, you gotta also consider how good do you feel about Christian McCaffrey's health now that he's back?
Oh,
do you put McCaffrey back in there? I think you've got to.
You've
got to roll the dice. Well, maybe. I mean, now they've got Ingram there. Their quarterback situation has got a lot sketchier. So then you get into some guys like Kamara. There's Zeke Elliott. I would probably put Zeke Elliott in over
Kamara, really?
Over Kamara. Yeah. So I think my top 5, and I would have to really kind of figure out the exact order of these, but it would be something like, Taylor, Eckler, Najee, Christian McCaffrey, and I think Zeke Elliott. Those would be the 5. Yeah.
You would, if you went back to the beginning of the year, you would draft CMC.
I mean, if he's in, again, we don't know exactly what we're gonna get from him. But if he's back healthy again, and he's supposed to be back, then it's hard to pass him up. For me.
Oh man, I hands off. I don't want anything to do with him. I still think Kamara is top 3. I like Taylor, Najee, and just consistency wise, I mean, maybe he doesn't. I think he's going to do better than CMC, like for the season. At the end of the season, like if you look at their seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I think just by virtue of staying healthy, but you've just now got, you've got Ingram in. I don't know how much volume Ingram's going to get, but I think they brought him in so that they don't have to play Kamara quite as much. And, is it going to be Trevor in at quarterback? I just, Michael Thomas is not coming back. I don't know. I don't know what that Saints offense is going to look like the rest of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to have to run through him. He's their star.
Yeah, but is it going to go far?
Good question. All right, well, let's see. So I hope that answers your question, BK7. Let's see if this injury is really that bad. I don't think they would play him. Who's he talking about?
I don't know if we're still talking about CeeDee Lamb or not. Maybe.
Oh, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
Or maybe. Or no, he says in the. Well, and in the following one though, he's talking about Kyler. Yeah, it could be. It could be even if Kyler plays, it could be bad. I don't know.
Oh, truly epic says he has Tony. I would play Tony. He's off the injured list. Now Galladay's coming back, but I really like Tony's, just the dynamic play and his skill. To me, is off the chart. He's like an Odell Beckham out there. The way he plays. Speaking of which, we didn't talk about that controversy.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too.
Let me see if we got anything else. Sorry, he's coming off injury. Oh yeah. Hey, Allied Rivals is in the house. BK says he's got Najee, Taylor, Eckler, and CMC if he's in there. Not sure about 5. He didn't go off. Okay, cares is 5. Oh, Aaron Jones. Yeah, we gotta have the Aaron Jones over CMC. He's done great.
Yeah, I'd have him over Kamara.
I'd probably have him over Kamara too. How about 36-year-old? Oh my goodness, I didn't. Did you pick him up anywhere?
I don't think I did. No.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the what happened. So I think this is pertinent to Roto Hackers since I am an ongoing Odell Beckham fan and you're an ongoing Odell Beckham hater. You have been right. So now he's been released from the Browns.
He's going to be, I think, on Monday.
On Monday.
He hasn't.
And
right.
In a way that he still retains. So he negotiated so that he'd still keep it. So the way his pay is structured, no, he's making himself less attractive on the waiver wire. He doesn't want to get picked up on the waiver wire. He wants to choose where he goes. Where do you think he's going to land? Do you think he's going to land anywhere?
Oh, I'm sure someone will take him. I mean, it's hard though now to parse out like how much was Baker Mayfield, how much is Odell Beckham declining. I guess we'll find out. Goes to his next team. There's some places that are obviously going to be more of a fit. More of an obvious fit than others based on need. But you can't. I mean, for all we know, he could go sign with Tampa Bay, and be the fourth receiver in that offense. And Tom Brady's throwing to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette. I mean that could potentially.
That's not very likely though, right?
Who knows at this point? So I think in terms of fits that make sense, that where there's a need and he could go to a potentially a winning team. I think then you start really narrowing down the list. What I think an interesting one would be, and again, I don't know how his contract's structured. I guess now people can just sign him and they're not beholden to the contract if he I guess if he passes waivers. So if he passes waivers and where it would make sense, I think, for him to go if it worked out would be Kansas City. I mean, we talk about Josh Gordon going in as that number 2 receiver in there. But I mean, again, this isn't 2013 Josh Gordon. This is 2021 Josh Gordon. So Kansas City, hasn't had a real number 2 wide receiver. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill have been the top receiving options. And I think kind of once you start going past that, maybe does he go to Green Bay? Would he fit okay in Green Bay as a number 2 option there? There's certainly a need there. But could he maybe go to LA? Could he maybe go to LA to where he's there with
Chargers?
No, sorry, to the Rams. Where you've got Cup underneath, then Odell Beckham becomes more of the deep threat there. So if I were him, and so I'm just basing this on on if he passes waivers and what might be attractive options to him and a team. I would say probably the ones that I just mentioned there, maybe Kansas City, maybe Green Bay, maybe LA, because each place you're going to a good team. Ironically, Kansas City is the worst team out of those 3 right now. But you're going to a good team with a good quarterback. He needs to go to a place with a good quarterback, or he's not going to be happy. And he probably needs to go to a good team, or he's not going to be happy. So when you start putting in good team, good quarterback, and somewhere that has a need, because he also probably wants a number of footballs coming his way, and he's probably not going to be happy if he doesn't get X number of targets. Once you put all those together, I think the list gets fairly short. So those would be, I think, the best fits in my mind.
I think I think you're right. Best fits. Maybe the Bills too. Bills might be a sweet spot.
Potentially. I mean, they've got a lot, they don't have a lot of superstars after Diggs, but, they've got Diggs, they've got Emmanuel Sanders, they've got Cole Beasley, they've got Dawson Knox, they've got Gabriel Davis. So there's a lot of, mouths to feed. I mean, if OBJ got back to being.
But what about the Colts?
They would not do it because of, like, the Colts are big on culture. And the Colts are big on high character players. I don't think they would ever entertain it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think for fantasy, where I would like him to land, I will snatch him up if he lands anywhere of these 3 places, and that is the Raiders. These would not be preferable places for him. Raiders, the Saints, or the Patriots. I think I'll snatch him up in a minute.
Yeah, I maybe. I think if you want him, though, you probably already need to go ahead and, like, I picked him up in some places just as a speculative, let's see where he lands sort of thing, because right, he's 74% rostered. So I picked him up in about 5 leagues. He's available in one of my others. But yeah, I picked him up as just sort of a speculative sort of play.
I think a lot of people did. I noticed he's been taken in most of these leagues. Man. Well, it's interesting. I'm curious to see where he goes. I mean that will be fascinating. Some people are saying they don't think anybody picks him up because of the culture.
Yeah, or even maybe because of his contract. I don't know how the contract is structured, but if you claim him off waivers, then you're responsible for the contract. Whereas if you just sign him as free agent, then you got you can do your own deal with him.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I hope that helps for fantasy. Now, will this help Landry? think I hear a lot of people talking about how they think it'll help Landry. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know that a lot was going towards Beckham to start with. So I don't know how many. I'd have to look at the targets that are gone now because Beckham's gone. I don't think it's a lot.
Right. Right.
Okay, so BK7 says, I have CMC on my team, and I'm scared to death. I have a bad feeling he's going to get injured again and turn into Todd Gurley. He could be one of those, he'd be good if he never got injured, guys. I mean, it's the reason I didn't take him anywhere. He just has so much wear and tear on him. And, another thing I was thinking about is these guys that are big on that are almost like bodybuilders, which CMC has kind of become just very, very thick, top heavy. Man, maybe he's doesn't skip leg week, but it just seems like that puts an extra. Someone was talking about they never draft running backs that say they put on a lot of weight from lifting weights over the summer because it shifts the body's, I don't know, something, the equilibrium or what have you. And that kind of worries me about CMC. Are you worried? You have CMC, right? In some places?
I have him in some leagues, yeah. I mean, at this point, there's just, there's nothing left to worry about. It's just like, we're halfway through the year. You just got to hope that he's healthy. And if not, then, you're in trouble. I guess maybe the only thing I say to that is, if you've got Chuba, I would not be inclined to drop him once CMC comes back, regardless of whether or not you have CMD. So I think Chuba is in Alexander Madison territory now, where the starter is so injury prone that you need to keeping that backup as a standalone player, even if you don't have him, is a wise decision.
I agree. All right, Lucius Vorenis 44. I need one. Good, thanks for joining us, man. Lucius needs one wide receiver. He's got, he needs one wide receiver, one running back, and one flex. Half point per reception. Options are Jacobs, Renfro, Mitchell, Daryl Williams, James Robinson, Julio Jones, Tony, Kadarius Tony, or Brandon Scott. I love Brandon Scott, Kadarius Tony, and Jacobs.
Boston Scott?
Boston, what did I say? Kadarius Scott?
Brandon.
No, Boston Scott. Oh, Brandon Scott. Who's Brandon Scott? All right. Boston Scott. I like Boston Scott, Kadarius Tony, and Jacobs. Who do you like?
Yeah, Jacobs, Scott, and Tony.
I just think those guys have the if you put Boston Scott and so what do you need, a wide receiver, flex, and a running back? So if you put Boston Scott as your running back or Jacobs as your flex, one of those, and then Tony is your wide receiver, I think you really have a high upside. They have good matchups this week. Maybe Tony has the worst, but I think he can overcome it with some good play. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Oh, look who's in. Crypto-y Ben is in the chat. Yo, guys, hope you're doing great, man. I hope you're doing all right, Ben. How you been? Get it? All right, I'm an idiot. All right. Good to see you, though. Thanks for joining us. Do you have any questions, Ben? Todd's back, too. He's saying late to the party. What's up? Todd says the Raiders started working out contracts to clear up free space. My bet is either Deshaun or OBJ our Raiders by next week. Interesting. I mean, I would really like to see OBJ go to the Raiders. That
That'd be a good fit for him too. I mean, I feel like ultimately he may be unhappy because, Derek Carr's not a top tier quarterback, or the Ravens may not be, competing for a title or something, but he would probably like Las Vegas, and that's an okay situation. He's definitely going to be the apart from Waller, OBJ is going to be the number one wide receiver option specifically.
I think he could really eat there. Now, do the Raiders want to bring any kind of locker room culture stuff now with with everything they're dealing with? Probably not, right? Might want somebody.
I don't know.
I don't either. Maybe no one does. I think Jeremy McNichols will impress this week and make AP an afterthought. I don't think he'll impress, but I don't think any of them will. That offensive line was made to look way better by the athleticism of King Henry.
Just being able to break tackles. And I mean, McNichols, if he does well, it's going to have to be, it's a completely different thing. He's a small guy, and he's going to have to be catching some balls and things like that. So, I don't know, but it's a completely different situation without Derrick Henry there to break tackles.
Yeah. And especially, by the way, I saw that that AJB is questionable, got some kind of problem, may not play. That's not going to make it any easier. Go get the Julio Jones if he's. He's probably not available, but fire him up. OBJ as a Raider. I'm starting to wind down here. I'm feeling a little sick. I got to get going pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll wrap up by 9. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. This is interesting. Truly epic. I wish Mekhi Sargent was healthy. He looked great in preseason. I have Mekhi Sargent in a lot of places because I saw him in preseason. He really was. I don't know that he's not healthy. I just think he was. I don't know what's going on with him. He may not. Maybe it is a health problem. Yeah, I had like 1,700 rushing yards in college. Sargent. Interesting. Or maybe McNichols did. All right, who do you guys have? Sutton, Claypool, Julio, pick 2. Oof, that's tough. Sutton, we've got Judy coming back. Claypool, apparently Big Ben has a third injury. I saw a headline. I'm not excited about, anybody catching passes from that guy. Although he's had the least picks of anybody in the last 5 weeks.
I would go with I would go with those two just because I mean Julio's cracked double digits once this year. He's got the Rams up this week, so I'm not feeling Julio anymore.
Yeah, neither am I. I agree. Would you play any of those other guys? Like Brian Edwards over any of those guys? You probably could get Brian Edwards on the waiver wire.
I mean, I think Sutton, Sutton and Claypool are at worst the number 2 option in their offenses. I would stick with them. They're athletic. I know they have some quarterback issues, but they're both capable of giving you a big game.
And actually, I think Broncos are going to win. I think they're going to win big. This is a place where they could do well. Start sit Daniel Jones versus Las Vegas, or Ben Roethlisberger versus I was thinking, what if you went out and picked up some Tyrod? I think I'd rather play Tyrod than both of these guys.
Maybe I would go Daniel Jones. He's got some weapons back this time.
Yeah, that's true.
He's capable of having some good games. Usually, even if he's not great, he's putting up maybe 17 points or something for you. I know he had a couple of games where he bombed out. One was against the Rams. One was weirdly at Dallas, but normally you're getting like 17 plus points out of Daniel Jones. I would probably roll with him. It's kind of funny, like 17 points used to be like okay for a quarterback, and like now if your quarterback is under 20, it's just like, what a failure.
What's funny is I had Wentz on my bench. I picked him up in one league just to I was thinking about playing him, but then I forgot he plays on Thursday, so he was on my bench. And he was he got like 27 points. I was like, that's okay. If he had gotten 40, I would have been upset. But okay, so we got a couple. So this is interesting: Schultz or Pitts, because James, or what's the other tight end there in for the Cowboys is out on the COVID list or IR or something, and with CeeDee Lamb being banged up, and if he doesn't play, I think Schultz could have a big game this week.
Yeah.
But it's Pitts.
I agree.
And I don't know. Pitts had 2 points last week. Fancy. I don't know.
They both have pretty tough matchups in terms of like the teams they're playing against do well against tight ends. I kind of agree with what you're saying though. If CeeDee Lamb's banged up, I would actually maybe be a little more inclined to trust Schultz over Pitts.
Yeah, I'd go Schultz. It's weird, but I think Pitts is kind of just shiny and new in some ways too.
Yeah. And the question he asked before that was Waddle or DJ Moore.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh yeah. Ooh, tough one because DJ Moore started hot and he has really fizzled.
He has, and Sam Darnold has fizzled too.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a lot of it.
That's a big part of it.
DJ Moore is against New England. New England's kind of middle of the pack. I would actually probably go Waddle against the Texans, and the fact that no Will Fuller, no Devonte Parker. So,
yeah, I like Waddle. I think he's on this trajectory, whereas DJ Moore is kind of going down. So, thanks for joining us, by the way, Justin. I feel like you always join us when we come on. I appreciate that. You're becoming one of our regulars, and I like that. Is J-Rob playing? I think he's going to play. I don't know if I would play him. They're playing the Bills.
Right.
And if he's a little banged up and he's playing the Bills, I'd probably play Daryl Williams over him. What do you think?
Same. Yeah, I'd play Williams over a banged up Robinson against the Bills.
Galladay, Bateman, Agnew. I'm playing. That's hard. Bateman may not play. He's banged up. Agnew is interesting. He's really interesting. I think it may have been Justin that brought him up the other day when me and AJ were talking. If you get return yards, but I think safety-wise, if those are your only three, I mean, you can't pick up a little. I don't know. I think I'd play Galladay. I don't know though. What do you think?
I don't like any of those.
I don't like any of them either. What about Bryan Edwards? Would you play with Bryan Edwards over all three of these?
I probably would. Galladay's just, I don't know. I guess maybe I'd play Galladay if he's healthy for a game. Because Shepard, I think, is out. Is Shepard out? Let's see. Let me double check.
I don't know.
Shepard's out. Yeah, I'd go Galladay. See if you can get a decent performance out of him for a game.
Trying to see. What about like People Jones? Would you play People Jones over any of these guys?
Let's just go Galladay.
Oh, and here's the thing that's interesting to me is that Allen Robinson has been showing up everywhere on my waiver wires. Would you pick him up anywhere? Like over any of these guys?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't think anything's gonna happen until next year with Allen Robinson.
Okay. All right.
All right. Justin says,
yeah. I got J-Rob 2. I don't. I got. I don't know. Okay, so do you know what that means?
I don't know.
Who's still questionable? J-Rob. Oh, J-Rob is okay. Ben says, "Nice, thanks, man. Thanks for tuning in." If CD sits and goes Schultz, I agree. Would you play banged up J-Rob or Waddle? Waddle.
Yeah, same.
Easy. All right, to everyone in TikTok saying that Brandon Naiyuk, I don't see it. Why? Oh, what's funny is I was just checking to see if Ayuk was on the waiver wire because a lot of people, I as an Ayuk owner, was thinking about dropping him. The reason is because Deebo Samuel is injured. His calf is not doing well. It actually suffered a setback, so you could see a big Ayuk blow up this week, but it's hard to tell. I'd at least, if you see him on the waiver wire, I'd pick him up, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for us. We're out of it, and hope you guys got something out of that. Thank you everybody for joining us. BK7, Ben, Justin, Todd. You guys are awesome. I'm trying to see who else. And Allied Rivals was there. It was Cademan, I'm sure. Did I miss any Cademans? No, I don't think so. Oh, he said Aaron. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We're going to head out. Do you have anything you want to leave us with, J-Rod?
I don't think so.
Quick take. Would you pick up more hoping that he starts to take off? I'm talking about Rondell Moore. I have a feeling about him.
Not unless I was in a deeper league or Hopkins had some season-ending injury. I mean, there's just so many mouths to feed in Arizona. Hopkins, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, Ertz, Moore, Chase Edmonds.
Yeah,
unless I got hurt, no. Or you're in a deeper league, no, for me.
Okay. All right, that's it. Good night, everybody. And Jared, thanks for joining us as always. And see you later.
See you soon. Good luck tomorrow.
You too.